Hey, Clark Gubble, come here. Come here, Clark. Don't face your back to the camera. Look, come here.
Pictures before? And a talking picture? Well, you are now. You're being photographed. You know that. You'll be at this theater sometime in December, possibly the 13th and 14th of December. That's your husband with you? Well, thank you a lot. You got pretty black hair, haven't you, honey? Black hair and brown eyes. Even the little folks enjoy the show here in Somerton. Yes, Mom and Dad is always proud. Say, where'd Mom go? Have you ever been in the picture before? What's his name, little Gary? Gary Nunley. Gary Nunley, folks. Lady, have you ever been in motion pictures before? Have you ever been in motion pictures before?
No.
In a talking picture?
No.
Well, you are now. Yes, the crowds are gathering here in Somerton at the Somerton Theater. So remember, folks, movies are your better entertainment. So make your show your entertainment place and do it often. Yes, visit the theater in Somerton.
That big smile, dear. Oh, puddles there, little puddles. Pet the dog.
Love the dog.
Yes, I love the dog. Go riding?
Bottling Company truck making a delivery of the popular drink to the Somerton Theater, one of Somerton's largest outlets for the Barks drink. Why don't you get the Barks habit? Don't just say cold drink. Be specific. Yes, insist upon Barks, from the popular 7-Up to the large 12-ounce.
I feel it a great honor, and it's a sin honor, to present this crew and staff of your local theater. Yes, these people of your Somerton Theater's main purpose in your hometown here is to entertain you people to the fullest content. Yes, they're ready at all times to accept your suggestions for the better in entertainment. So drop in to Mr. and Mrs. Sturtevant, or if they happen to be out of town deer hunting, make your suggestions and leave them at the box office. Yes, so now Mr. Sturtevant will introduce the staff of personnel of your Somerton Theater.
Well, first of all, I'd like to give a little brief history of the theater. This theater had been closed for several years before we opened, I believe, in the year of 1933. We, the Sturtevants, had the privilege of bringing the first sound motion pictures into the theater of Somerton, Arizona. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce our staff, starting here with Calvin Albright to my left, who is, we might say, a relief projectionist, relieving Mr. Jack McCullum during his illness. Calvin, what would you like to have to say about what you have to do up in the booth?
Well, let's see there. I really enjoy working here with the staff, and have very nice equipment, and I try to show the smoothest picture I can.
Well, Calvin, you've given us an exceptionally good picture, and now I'd like to introduce my wife here, Edith, who all of you know. She's been with us. She takes care of all the books and the records and tells me when I can let a check and go when I have to hold it. Edith, would you like to say something?
Well, nothing that I can think of. Just have to release the checks once in a while.
And now comes our cashier, who all of you know, Inez Castro, been with us now almost a year and a half. She's the little girl that greets you at the box office and takes your money so we can pay our bills. Inez, what would you have to say?
Well, all I could say is I'm very glad to be able to sell tickets.
And now comes Delia Torres. She's been with us about 4 or 5 months. And Delia, what capacity do you serve?
Oh, I serve the delicious hot popcorn and the cold sodas.
You mean generously kissed with butter, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fine. And now comes Nancy Brummel. She's been with us about a month and a half or 2 months. And Nancy, what is your capacity in the theater?
Well, I show the people to their seats and keep them quiet as possible.
You mean you try to keep them quiet?
Yes.
That's it. Well, we have a theater here, and we try to serve you the best motion pictures, and we welcome suggestions from you as to the type of programs you want.
do a little flying ticket with an aerobatic ride. Here I am flying Cub JC3 powered with a 65 horsepower Continental engine, doing one wheel takeoff and landing. It's not difficult if you know how, and happen to know how. You see the wing almost touched the ground, that left wing. Did you notice that? If it had hit the ground, well, it would have been a different story. Here comes a maneuver you would love to be in the airplane with me, and right there, now how you like that? Here comes another one. Cub JC3 at the Somerton Airport, Somerton, Arizona, in early 1940. Here I am flying a Ryan PT-22 doing step rolls at an elevation of about 1,000 feet. Step roll to the left. Here comes another one. Right on the nose, you notice. 360-degree turn altitude. Down over Somerton, Arizona there, doing a few aerobatics, loops and spins and cuminates and just wing over, call them what you want to, anything to make you nauseated. If you're in a front seat, you're probably getting sick right now. That's what the Earth looks like when you're doing aerobatics from an airplane at about 2,000, 3,000 feet. Doing cuminates up there. See, I do, it's a loop, but you do complete the loop, start back down, invert again, roll out half a roll, climb again, do another loop, and when you start back down again, invert, roll out again to the left and to the right. Those are what we call cuminates. Very good maneuver. It's very beautiful maneuver, properly done, as I thought I was doing there. I'm going to take your time in a few minutes, do about a 3-turn spin right directly Somerton, Arizona. You can see the distant fields out there. I'm inverted. When you see the blue sky, that means you're inverted or climbing upward into the sky. There were no clouds to give you the effect of being moving in the air, see. If you've been in Montana, you've seen a lot of clouds there. There was part of a one-turn spin. This film was made in 1943 or 4, somewhere during when I had the flying school up there. Oh, he flies through the air with the greatest of ease. Every young man on the fly. There's that spin. How you like that? About 3 turns to the left. I bet you enjoyed that. Did you getting sick yet? I don't have a ripping cup, so be careful. Put it on the outside. This is a melon shed. You see the mountain in the distance. The Mexican bracerios, imported labor, picking the cantaloupes out there. It's all stoop labor, very, very hard. And they started to crack of dawn and worked until, maybe sometimes until almost dark, depending upon the market and the number of melons we have to pick. They'll pick these melons, putting them in the sacks on their backs, and walking over to those trailers that you see, the red trailers, and dumping them in there. Here's a fella here, almost got his bag full. Look, it is full. See there, now he has got a load of melon. He drops his head there so he'll know where to start back on that same row as he dumps them into the trailers. These boys driving the tractors pull the trailers along, keeping them as close to the melon pickers as they can. He had so many melons he almost fell down. Can you imagine doing that 12, 14, 16 hours a day? That runs into work. A lot of hard work. See, they pull a string there and it spills them out to the bottom. These boys driving those tractors, when tractors get full, they'll pull them out to the road in the middle of the field, and a truck will back in and ramp them up and take 2 to the at a time to the shed. A distance from this field about 8 miles, I would say, to the Lee Aiken salt shed. The average total pack out for the year of the shed like that is about, I'd say 126,000 crates. Average yield per acre about 180 crates per acre. And the length of the harvest usually runs about 2 months, maybe a little bit better. May, June, and July. Sometimes they ends at the first part of July. It's contingent upon the market more than anything else. As long as they can pick them and harvest them at a market, they do so if they have the melons. See that truck coming there? He's pulling one trailer now. He's going to tie into another trailer in a minute. Here's a fella here backing up. Now, he will ramp that trailer. Put the 2 front wheels on that ramp he has there. And that's a big set of semi. Then he can hook onto the next trailer. And that way he's got a semi and a 4-wheel trailer, which is legal in the state of Arizona as well as in the state of California. These kids driving these tractors making $120, $25, $30 a week, I think. They're paid by the hour. The Mexican laborers are paid by the crate. The truck driver is paid also by the hour. See, now he's got 2 trailers. He's going to the Lee Consol shed. There is a crop duster dusting a cotton crop nearby the cantaloupe field. That is really fun, flying those crop dusters. Good money, too, if you don't crack up, which does happen quite often. You can imagine those boys driving those tractors, well, from about daylight until almost dark. Again, depending upon the ripeness of the melons. Here they'll haul them to the shed. You see the yard out there? They can stack 20 or 30 of those trailers out there in the yard. That's the box factory where they make the boxes to put the melons in. You see a little Shorter Smith there in a minute now. And there's the box. They're making the boxes there at that press you saw. Little Shorter Smith, they're putting them on that conveyor, which will take them up to the sheds. But where the packers can reach right up and get them, as you will see later on. Roughly pack out, as I told you, about 126,000 crates a day. The average packer will pack about 850 crates. That is, some of the better ones will pick out better, about 80 crates per hour. So you see how fast they can paint less than a minute on a crate of melons. Now these melons are dumped out of those trailers. They roll out on the gravity, of course, and they go through this conveyor and are brushed and polished as they go through. Then they're up into a conveyor by the sheds, where in a moment you will see the girls sorting them out to the packers. Various packers pack certain size melons, some packing 36s, some 45s, some ponies, and what's called a 54. That means 54 to the crate. Now those crates are empty, those trailers I mean, that boy will pull them out, drop them in the yard, pick up 2 more loads. The truck will bring in 2 in a minute, pick those 2 empty trailers up and take them right back to the shed. It's just a vicious circle, seems like. See the girls sorting them now. These girls sorting out various sizes to various pickers. Some pick out 36s, some pick out 45s, some pick out 54s. It depends upon what their packer is packing. Those melons go to what they call culls. They're overripe or they're cracked or they're bruised or something, not a marketable melon. So they dump them in this cull chute and they're hauled away to the fields, and that fed is to the cattle or sometimes to the pigs, and some of them are sold to the Mexicans who take them down below the border and make fruit stands down there, and they buy them for a nominal sum and sell them for 5 or 10 cents a piece to the Mexicans down in Mexico. These packers there, you see, they're all lined up. I'll show you 2 of the fastest packers, which I think are fastest in the sheds for the console there. Look at it, that runs into work. See the shed, the melon crates coming down this conveyor by them? And that fellow Right there, you see where the white bandage is. It's Charlie Lang there in the center. He is one of the fastest packers in the shed. There he is right there, see him? How he can smoke it back, I don't know, but I guess it's a darn. There's another fast packer. You think it's not doing him in a hurry? These girls here, she's stamping the crates, what size they are, whether they're 36s, 47, 54s, or whatever, 27s, whatever they are. She knows, look at that crate, she knows instantly what it's full of, 27, 36s, 45s, or 54s, the ponies. Now here's a high-speed man in his house, the man who runs the litter there. I've been told the litter sometime make $1,200, $1,300 a week. That was during 52, 53. Of course, he has to maintain his own litter, too. He has to know how to take care of it, or should. These girls here are putting labels on the melons. Leek-and-Sol, or Consol, I believe it is. There's a set-off bed, set them off. Now, these fellows will pick them up in the pickup in these hand trucks and take them out to the boxcar by the loading ramp out there, inside the cars, and here the boys will load them in the car. They put about 288 crates to the car. Of course, sometimes they load them in great big huge trucks, refrigerated, of course, as they do these melons in the car. Now, they grind up, they put about, I'd say roughly about 4.5 tons of ice to each car. When they get them all packed, they put a hydraulic press in there and push them all in real tight and brace them where they won't shift during transit. Because they're hauled back to the east, sometimes Chicago, sometimes Washington, state of Washington, and various places throughout the United States. The fellow in the white t-shirt, Bucky Gardner, I beg your pardon, I've forgotten his name there. Buckaloo, Gary Buckaloo, that's who that is. He loses about 20, 25 pounds a year packing, loading those cantaloupes. He's kind of overweight anyway, but I'll tell you, he packs those things. He loses that weight in a hurry. It's hot in that car. Very little ventilation. See the seals on now? They've got the hydraulic press in there and are pressing the cantaloupes crates all in a good place where they will not shift during shipment. Now, these cars are on the road too long, the iced en route. Now that's C.B. Hardy on the left, Clarence Stiles on the left. That's one of the few big melons that Lee Consol grew as a hobby. Isn't that a monster? They were going to ship it to President Eisenhower, but I guess they decided the cost of the freight would eat them up. Look almost tall as they are. Now that's what we'd call a monster. I remember when one time I had a melon shipped to me from Prescott, Arkansas. They got here, it weighed 165 pounds. Now that was a watermelon. It was on display in many of the stores in Yuma, for 2 or 3 months, and we finally discarded because it had been picked for so long. Of course, it wasn't fit to eat by then. But it was a big melon, just like that cantaloupe there is. C.B. Hardy and Clarence Stiles, that made the main front page of the Yuma Daily Sun and a couple of trade journals, as well as in a magazine called Trailer Life. Take a good look at it, because you don't see melons that large very often. Great big old bullfrog. I'll show you a picture of me in a minute. Now, he was alive, too, when he's hanging up there. Hadn't been cleaned yet. In a minute, you'll see me pretending to riding him. I have a halter on him and sit and straddle that frog. Look. That's an honest-to-goodness live bullfrog. That's what bullfrogging was, bullfrogging. Here's a catfish a friend of mine in 5 Mile Landing caught. He caught that big, huge catfish, caught him on a spin rod, believe it or not. And we had a big fish fry for everybody in camp there at 5 Mile Landing. Herschel Flock is that man's name. He was a retired man. He made his money in Saudi Arabian oil. Now, how you like that for some crappies that I caught up there? I mean, they were really big crappies, weren't they? Those children, that little girl on the left is Sherry Lynn Bodenhammer and Dennis Bodenhammer, children of Mr. and Mrs. Bucky Bodenhammer, who lived down there in the Somerton Valley. Here's my longest elk shot. I shot that elk in Montana. Henry saw me, saw the elk.